All right, so welcome everyone to our third in our series of our online women's forum for Rugby Americas North. We've had two amazing presentations so far and really excited for tonight's topic as well. So this evening, our topic is the road to 15s, creating more inclusive game. We have two amazing speakers that I'm very excited to introduce to you. And then following up is Alejndra Betancur. Sorry if I said your name wrong there, Alejndra. Who is actually representing Sudamerica Rugby, which is our counterpart, our sister regional association in the South, which is primarily Central and South America. And she is on World Rugby Council representing Sudamerica Rugby. So very excited to have the two of them join us this evening.
Hola, hola a todas.
Hello, everybody.
Es un saludo para mí, es un placer estar aquí.
It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Agradecerles a jugadoras, entrenadores y mujeres
I'm very thankful
el día de hoy. Y también si
to
hay
coaches and players,
hombres interesados en el rugby femenino, pues
and also to men
de que
interested
compartamos
in women's rugby.
nuestro proyecto. Quiero comenzar con mi presentación.
I want to start my presentation.
Todavía sigo jugando, afortunadamente.
I'm still playing.
Voy camino al repechaje hacia la Copa de Nueva Zelanda, así que es un
I hope to be in the repechage in New Zealand.
femenino y también en el cónsul. Entonces contarles un poquito de eso, que hay un camino
I want to
hacia dónde llegar, no solamente dentro del campo.
I want to tell you that we have an aim, we have a goal to reach that generates spaces for women. Thank you very much for letting me share with you all the things I have. I want to start.
Erin, le hablas a la siguiente presentación, por favor. Gracias. Quiero comenzar con dos palabras muy importantes.
I want to start with two words. The first one is inclusion, that Jen spoke about, and tell you about World Rugby that is working for the inclusion of women in their structure. And that's very important because there is where rugby starts. There, where rugby starts, it's very important that inclusion is present. It's very important. So it's very important for you to think, where do we want to go? I will tell you where rugby wants to go. One is a place where women can work as ambassador, as coach, as player. I have three objectives today. The first one is that we all think, where are we looking to? At competitions level, at resources level, at education level. We think rugby is a tool for that. Where do we look as Sudamerica Rugby? We have much more women playing rugby, and we look for development of women's rugby. But the main thing is, where do we want to go? I hope in the chat you can tell us which is a rugby you dream. Maybe you have another dreams.
Sigamos a la siguiente, Erin.
Next slide.
Yo tenía dos momentos muy importantes y uno es, Jen trabajó la percepción, trabajó la comunicación.
Jen talked about perception and communication, and I have to talk about competitions. There are a lot of challenges when we talk about rugby 15s. We don't have to take a long step, but step by step. I have 5 steps to propose to you. But first of all, we are going to talk about challenges. We need more girls to play rugby, more players. We think also about safety. A lot of people talking about scrum, line out.
Después hablamos del tiempo, es una de las dificultades.
Then we talk about time. That's another challenge. And fields of play, pitches. This is one of the difficulties we find in our way. One of our successful things is to find referees that act in our matches. Except for United States and Canada, in the rest of America, rugby is just born. So time, rugby match officials, players, pitches, these are the first tools you need. So with these tools, you can start. One of the things that worked very well for us, at least in Colombia, is that we started to play rugby 15s. And we needed that all the girls to know rugby 15. So we did clinics. In all the clubs of our city, we started clinics of rugby 15s.
Sí saben hacer scrum y hay seguridad para ello. Entonces lo que hicimos fue anular que nos dijesen eso y empezamos con las clínicas de scrum and line out.
So we started with clinics of parts of the game, a scrum and line out. It's very easy to gather women and girls that want to do this. When we did the clinics, the girls wanted to play. After the clinics, they said, we want to play. And we found that there were not many girls and not enough to play. So we started doing competitions of quick rugby, 20 minutes per match.
Que pudiesen practicar el paso número 1, que fueron las clínicas de scrum y el line out.
And as some girls couldn't get 15, they started practicing scrum, line outs, and different parts of the game. Then we asked how can we retain the girls? 75% normally do not continue playing. They study in the university, they work, family, or because they don't find a place in adult rugby.
Fueron los festivales sub-18, donde tu club no necesitaba.
One thing that worked very much for us was the festivals, under 18 festivals. we made teams all mixed up, and we got the girls playing because they keep on playing because they were playing with girls of the same age and similar culture. This made an ongoing competition, and they were more confident in themselves.
Hicimos el paso 1 en nuestra ciudad, nos fuimos con el paso 2, estamos en el paso 3, les doy un paso más, nos vamos al 4.
Then the fourth stage, we started it with regional tournaments under 18.
Necesitábamos algo para unir la ciudad, entonces hicimos los torneos regionales, tanto de mayores y juveniles.
Under 18 and senior tournaments, regional tournaments.
Y esto hizo, como lo decía ayer, empezamos a visibilizar mucho más la mujer.
So women could be visibilized better, and that made the retention easier. But doing that, we realized that we need managers, administrators, logistic people that in charge of logistics. In that way, a lot of women started working with us.
Y los recursos tienen que ver mucho con dinero. Pero a veces
in this way, at this stage, we realized that we needed money and resources.
Logramos que en las ciudades hicieran los torneos rápidos, tuvieran las clínicas de Scrum, después logramos enfrentar.
So finally, the cities made these quick tournaments, under 18 and senior. The states playing each other. And then we realized that we needed a national schedule, a national program, in which everybody had very clear the windows to play, so they could plan their training preparation. It's vital as clubs that girls know the development plans. So everybody has a guideline with a pathway to follow. Remember that we started talking about where do we want to go. And we should start in the clubs, and the clubs must have a development plan, a development pathway. So my idea is that you go home today with the idea that each club needs a plan, a development plan.
¿Por qué? Porque esto nos va a ayudar al crecimiento. Y lo único que van a hacer estos pasos que yo les acabo de dar es lograr la permanencia, que es lo que todos queremos.
These steps will help you to retain women. The next challenge, resources. It's not only money. It's also human resources.
Yo vengo de Colombia, un país naciente, un país creciente en nuestro continente.
Colombia is a young country. if we could overcome all these challenges, everybody that is hearing this can do it also. We qualified to Olympic Games without money, without resources. Our staff was very small, and we played against staffs with 10 or more people working. Resources is also keep the players with us. And also we have to take in consideration the equipment, balls, cones, tackle bags, etc. And sponsors we look for will help us with that resources.
Pero tenemos un montón de mujeres que están queriendo luchar por visibilizar el rugby.
We have a lot of women that are struggling to play and keep on playing.
Bueno, recuerden que al final, el día de hoy, uno de mis objetivos es enamorarlas del rugby 15. Pero no,
At the end of the day is that you fall in love with rugby 15, with 15's rugby. So what all the things that 15's rugby obtained is more women playing, more inclusion. For us, 15's rugby is more matches, more girls, more enjoyment. What you see there, it's a simple tool that you can have and shows the way that we show the pathway that we did from 7th rugby to 10 to 12 to 15s. This is the way we did it. It's only a tool. These are steps to reach the goal. I hope you go today, you go with these ideas, with this plan. We had a development plan, and the plan means more women playing, and we also have a competitions plan, a schedule, a global schedule, and that is written from clubs to regional competitions. And for regional competitions, we need more countries playing. So the last objective today
Do I need to open up another document or the other document?
I think she needs you to close the PowerPoint, Erin.
Oh, okay.
Nos vamos con mi último objetivo del día de hoy, y es contarles.
My last objective today is tell you that in the global competition we need all of you.
En la planificación está que en un futuro queremos competir a nivel regional, pero nada de esto va a ser posible, pues si como región, estoy hablando como Américas, no empezamos a crecer.
Our plan is to have strong regional competitions, but this only will be possible if all the countries grow and develop.
Necesitamos tener un rugby más global.
We need a global rugby stronger.
Es que el rugby que nos depara el futuro es un rugby magnífico. Y yo no
Rugby will have in the future is fantastic, but it's not in my hands to get to do that. We will do it all together.
Eso es lo primero que quiero contarles. Tenemos 2 años muy, muy buenos. Yo los digo muy buenos porque creo que cuando hay muchas personas trabajando por el mismo
The
sueño,
coming years are going to be very good because there are a lot of people working. They are working very well.
Generar un montón de cambios a nivel de
We want to
y eso va a depender
develop our
de
region,
todos ustedes.
make
Yo les
changes.
cuento un poco a dónde quieren ir. Quiero terminar mi presentación
So to finish,
y después de escucharlas a todas ustedes. Recuerden, yo sueño con un rugby más global.
I ask you to remember that my dream is a global game full of women, not only playing,
Donde se normalice a la mujer en el rugby que inspire.
but in all areas, in all the areas.
Hay una mujer que inspira a su región.
Talking about Jen, she's inspired in her region. We need much more women like her. We want a lot of women like her. Jamaica, the islands. We work together. I come from a country that things are not easy. So I finish my presentation here, and I want to hear you, question, comments, and everything. I'm ready here to answer. And I wait. My expectation is that 15th rugby will grow.
Okay, so Aleja, we have some questions for you. One of the questions I think was a clarification point on the scrum. Maybe you can elaborate on why in the transition do you not allow the pushing in the scrum? Like, why is there no pushing, and why is that important?
Claro que sí. En la transición no permitimos el empuje en el scrum debido a que queríamos que el rugby fuera más seguro. ¿Qué iba a determinar?
We were looking for safety. So who would determine if they were going to be pushed or not? The match official of the game. Our goal was not to have accidents or injuries because of the pushing.
Creo que si todos los que están aquí son apasionados con el rugby,
if everybody here love rugby, first thing is safety, and if we have safe rugby, we will have more rugby, but we have to start with safety.
Así que espero que les sirva.
The next question I think you both could potentially chime in on. So it's around how we achieve this. So for the information that you both presented, how can these communities and these individuals on the call today achieve kind of this goal of getting to 15s and everything that you're talking about, but the leadership of maybe the club or the union is not giving you a choice or is not being supportive of those efforts? So what can our attendees or our participants do if they don't have support from the top? How can they still move things forward?
¿Tú o yo?
Whoever wants to go first.
Sorry, I was muted. The only thing that I go back to, because I know that's a frustration. And it's difficult to answer the question without really having a greater context for what the issues are and what avenues what you've already tried to do. Like when you say it doesn't work, I don't have all of that context of why it doesn't work. But I think, again, it goes back to putting in the time, the energy, and the effort to be thoughtful about what it is that you're trying to accomplish, having a solid argument for what it is that you're trying to accomplish, coming up with ideas and plans, not waiting for somebody else to do it, but taking on that responsibility ourselves to affect change. I think that's one piece of it. And again, I apologize, not having greater context makes it difficult to answer that question. But I kind of go back to what Jen Gray had said to me, which, sorry, Jen, if you're listening, but, you know, RAN is a resource, right? So we're part of this Rugby America's North group, and they're not just a competition structure. So if you are, you know, coming up against a brick wall and you have gone through a series of trial and error, trying to affect change and trying to move things forward and not successful in doing that, and then you've gone to the next level and still unsuccessful. I would say then you go and you find the next level. There's always going to be somebody else that you can go and talk to. But I think really sitting down and identifying what strategies you've already tried to employ is the first thing. Sitting down with the leadership in those groups to express your whatever it is that the issues are that you're dealing with, and being thoughtful, coming to the table with a strategy of your own and solid arguments for why it is you're trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. But again, not knowing what it is you're trying to accomplish makes it tough to answer that. But I'm happy, you can reach me, Jen at girlsrugbyinc.com, if you want to email me with some specifics. I'm happy to bounce that around and brainstorm with you.
Aleja, anything you would add?
Claro que sí. Coincido mucho con Jen. De pronto utilizaré palabras diferentes. Algo que nos ha funcionado mucho se llama...
I completely agree with Jen, probably with different words, but
que implicaba no tenemos la gente suficiente, el club
the arguments are we don't have enough people, the club doesn't help. So when you present a project in the federation, in the union, there are 40 girls that want to play rugby. You can prepare a proposal. There is something that make people in the federation think, and this is the numbers. We don't have to go against the wall, but present numbers. And because federations and clubs are want to support the participants. So if we go with a project, with a plan, and representing values of rugby, it was not easy for us. Somebody can hear and say it was easy. No, it was not easy. We have to knock many doors, insisting, and remember always looking for leaders too that can hear us, that can listen to us. So it's very clear when we said we are so many and we like to do this, and federations and clubs will always support projects. The thing is, how do we present our ideas? Who talks about that? Who explains? And who listens? Context is very important. It's very important to know the reasons why things are happening to us, to clubs, to cities, to find solutions.
Wonderful, thank you. So I know we had a couple other questions, but I'm conscious of time and I don't want to go too far over the hour. If I could sum up and wrap up, I think we had some amazing information from Jen and Aleja on kind of how do we grow the game. And I think at the end of the day, some of the biggest messages that I took away is, I mean, at one point, whether you have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, just play with that number, but then start implementing some of these things around the perception and the culture. And then some great ideas on competition of let's bring everyone together to start working up to that 15s number. Because too often I think we're like, oh, we have to start a 15s team. I need to find 30 women on my own, when there are 30 women around us that we can bring together and then use that as a catalyst to build off of. So some really good topics and information there. If we didn't get to your question, please reach out. I can connect you up with both Jen and Aleja to make sure that your questions are answered, or if you want to share some thoughts with them. Really appreciate the conversation tonight. A huge thank you to Jen and Aleja for being our fantastic panelists, and then also Alejandro for the interpretation. Thank you all. We have one more session in our women's online forum next week. The topic is recruiting and retaining more female referees and coaches. Myself will be presenting, and then I'll be joined by Tamara Dixon from Canada, who has also represented Jamaica. And it's going to be a really great topic to kind of round out our forum. So I hope you can all join us. Thank you again. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next week.